Welcome everyone to the 29th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It's Tuesday, February 27th, 2018. My name's Rick Crammond. I'm your host today, and we'll have Caroline Keshe of the Keshe Foundation available to guide us through today's teaching. And I believe she's ready to begin today's festivities. Are you there, Caroline?
Yes, Rick. Hello, everybody. Nice to be here again. And yes, we are ready to launch. I asked Flynn to pass you a link for all of us to listen to something we have heard so many times. But it is different when you play it as an intro and everybody's still walking in and trying to do and get ready, than actually paying attention as it goes from the beginning till the end, because there is a lot of information in there that we can open up to discuss. If you can go ahead, Rick, that would be very nice.
Okay, yeah, I understand that the video didn't get shared somehow. It was a black screen. Sorry about that, to introduce it there. I've got the One Planet lined up. Let's play that.
You are people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, of this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nano-technology, the nano-material which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Okay, well, that was the One Planet, One Nation, One Race video. The words of Mr. Keshe on it.
Yes, and I found out how much work has gone into this. It is amazing how the teams are working in the background to be able to present this in public. It's really a lot of teamwork and really making sure everything goes smooth and as perfect as possible. As we are preparing in the background to present the charter from the Universal Council, I start realizing how nitty-gritty you have to work to make sure everything adds up and makes sense and looks marvelously beautiful. I thank the teams for all their work and their contribution, because it takes a lot of hours and a lot of expertise. And this particular presentation I've heard and listened to, and it brought so many memories back, and I think for so many other knowledge seekers. This is not just wordings passing by. It is the meaning that we are already one. If we could only even state the amount of nationalities and languages and cultures and even religions are on this table, sharing knowledge freely to one another, it is absolutely an amazing work of art, I can call it. And wherever we come and wherever we go, the first topic is always, do you know this? I found this. And then the whole topic starts getting shared and opened up that everyone can understand. And it doesn't matter if it's agriculture, water, drinking water, decontaminating, it does not matter. People are ready to guide you, to make sure for you to prevent mistakes, and if they have learned from their mistakes, to guide you to a different and a higher level. I have not seen this being achieved in many places, but the Keshe family seems to start getting really good at this, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I thank every single one of you to be here, to be on this platform. And I would like knowledge seekers or council members or core members or Earth Council members who are present today, what are we still missing? Where can we still add to this beauty? Can anyone share, please? It's gonna be a quiet start, Rick, today.
Yes, you're going to have to encourage them a little more, perhaps. I'll remind the attendees that they can raise their hand, and then we can allow you to speak here at the Zoom. And if people have a question in the live stream, they can put their question in there.
This is Moshfik. Can I add something?
Yes, go ahead, Mark. Yes, go ahead.
So Rick and I were talking a little bit about music. There will be a little bit of horns and beeping and things like that in the background, but I'll try to talk over those things. But so today, Rick and I had a conversation about music, and I believe there was some talk about it in our previous meeting of One Nation, One Planet, and One Race. And so one of the things is about music is that Mr. Keshe mentioned about the sound being the midpoint between the heart and the soul of the physicality, which resides at the heart, and the soul of the man. And if we go back to another teaching further back, where Mr. Keshe talked about the emotional part of the physical soul and the emotional aspect of the soul of man, there is an overlap, which is the doorway between the two. And the ILS is one of the negative factor that can, that's a negative manifestation of soul's desire to detach. And through this doorway. But as we know, we can use this doorway for other purposes. And one of them being the physical soul elevating the soul of the man, or the other way. Now, music, which is the voice or the sound, which is once again in the midpoint, a point where these two fields of soul may overlap, maybe may help us to find or discover this doorway. And that also remind me of another thing, which is the technique of using headphone to locate the location of your soul in the head. And several people have used it. I haven't, but my sister did, and a few others I know have done it. So obviously sound in some way tell us that, well, the doorway is close to where our soul is. So in a way, it's pointing us towards that soul of man. So perhaps there is a way we can use this sound to discover a way back, so to speak, to our soul. And so this is something I've thought about, and it does, and there are examples of this being used by some of the schools that are used to train people, which is, some people call them the ascended masters or something. I don't know the exact popular terminology for these, but something along that line. So music has been used. Yes, music has its profane use as well. But those who know how to help access this doorway to the soul, perhaps the sound, voice, singing, many of the other things can help, as it's located in the midpoint between the two, to find us our way back, or help us at least give some hint that, well, we have to walk this way to get there. So let's start with this, and if anybody has any other thoughts along this line, that would be great. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you,
Hi.
Mospec.
Hi, this is Elizabeth. It was so beautiful that Mosfak brought that up because I was going to say that too. Let's look at music. But one of the things I wanted to mention is, although we did start a group, so to speak, the KF music group on the community.keshe foundation.org, I believe it's called, there's I think there's only 8 of us that have shown up. And I believe the forum could be a really beautiful place for us to do more interaction as well, of course, during these public classes. But it seems to me somebody might want to be in charge of that group so that, or that we, because right now there's interest, but none of, well, I'm certainly not a musician. I love to chant and I love to dance and I love music, but I don't have a music background per se. But it would be nice if we could maybe bring more attention to that group so that people post but aren't left wondering when there's going to be any a real get together of souls. So maybe that might need to be looked at.
Yeah, I think once we get going with it, there's going to be a new private teaching group coming up. I think it's March 9th on a Friday. And that will sort of, we'll get organized in that group and get some clarity as to how to proceed. And we can also, do other things in that community group as well. We can create music and do things in the forum as a group, to swap files either within the group or within the forum. And there's many options there. So would you like to head up the group, Elizabeth?
Well, given I don't have a background in music.
Well, I don't know if it's necessary to have a background in music. If you have a background in chanting and dancing, that seems close enough, because I have a philosophy with this music thing that every single person has something that they can contribute toward what we call music, or what is, different people have different ways to contribute. And, it might be just thumping on your desk, and, that's your drum beat that you're really good at, that no one else can do better, desk drumming than you do, or whatever. Maybe you have the best, most beautiful chanting in the world, but, it hasn't been heard because you only chant in the bathroom shower or something. That's typically where people tend to sing their best, apparently. The acoustics are very good in the bathroom, and they seem to let loose in the shower. So
yes, and my answer is yes. I would be glad to head up that group.
Okay, great.
So, thank you.
So, well, you're elected and self-appointed, and we just made it so.
Okay.
Someone second.
It can be a rotating gig if necessary, but I'm happy to, because it is something I'm fascinating with, and I know it is a vehicle to gather people. And if we can create very easy songs to remember and in different languages and let it ripple out to the world, it's a beautiful way to get the Keshe Foundation's message out to the world. And there's so many people involved, and I would like to see that. So thank you. I'm very honored to have that position in this moment. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Mario, of course, had his hand up there, so we should allow him to talk, being our main musician interpreter. I'm going to promote you there, Mario. And I see Estella has her hand up too, but let's hear from Mario first, perhaps.
Oh yeah, okay. It took a second for me to switch. I think Jim has me booked to do a private teaching on March 9th. So it might be me that's doing that music thing. I had no idea. So no problem for me. You know, using music in, for health applications or, for emotions and all is fantastic. I mean, as far as I know, it's been used since the beginning. I mean, men have always sung and played, and rhythms, drums have been used for communication. I mean, even the rumors of, finding that, Joshua or bringing down the walls of Jericho and all, I think there's nothing that we've learned about plasma from Mr. Keshe that hasn't been applied in the past to music, But I think more than just trying to use music, songs and this and that, I'm not against that, but I think that what the Pythagoreans did, what Pythagoras didn't use music to learn about music. He learned music to understand about the universe, to understand the physics of the universe, the proportions and the ratios. And it is, I think there's another level of being able to use music, the understanding of the nature of tones and how they interact with intervals and how they relate to the emotions that we need to explore as well. So just wanted to add.
Yes, definitely. The way I see it, there'll be partially theoretical sort of background information about what is music and how does it affect our essential self, our inner life and our emotions and so on. And part of it will be actually doing it and experimenting and trying different things, basically. So hopefully it'll be a symphony of various techniques and experiments to experience different states and different ways of perceiving music, let's say. So yeah.
Yeah, very interesting that I was just watching, well, I guess earlier today, some going through YouTube and looking at harmonic resonance and mathematics and music and mathematics and music and geometry and all this stuff, because, I have an interest in that. But a woman was giving a lecture and she said something very interesting, which is, I think, the point I tried to make a number of times. She was saying music is a way to calculate mathematics without actually doing any of the mathematical formulas. That you can reduce by using intervals. Instead of a 2-to-1 ratio, it's an octave. So you don't, or 4-to-2, or 3-to-2 is a fifth. So you can do math without math. And I really think that mathematics, and in fact, I know it, I'm sure it, 100% sure of it, because that's kind of my background. I've studied the history of that. The mathematics was invented more or less in the Greek times. I mean, arithmetic was always, of course, used, but what we call mathematics comes from the Greeks using the Flower of Life and the harmonic overtone series that had been around forever. I think the Greek, the Egyptians, the ancients, at the Greeks' time, the ancients used a compass to do their measurements. And they would always, and then later when Pythagoras comes along and he invents mathematical formulas such as pi, well, of course, anytime you lay out your building design for the pyramids or for the Sphinx or whatever, and you use a compass, then you're going to find pi in it, and you're going to find the golden ratio in it, because they're not using mathematics. The mathematics comes later, if that makes sense. And I think that, you know, it confirms what Mr. Keshe said. You cannot use mathematics to understand the workings of the plasma. But I think you can use music. You can use a compass, Flower of Life. Yeah, I think that's the tool. We need to learn how to use that tool correctly. It's a little far.
Very good. No, that makes sense, Mario, definitely. Like any tool, a tool can be a useful tool, or it can be a weapon or an object of destruction in the wrong hands. And so the same thing could be said of music, I suppose. And the way music is used in our society is often probably not in the best, definitely with not the best intention. If we look at most music is designed to make you buy things out in the marketplace. When it's played, you know, you hear music in a grocery store or something, it's there to make you feel good and to make you buy things. That's the main reason for music in that case, and it's selected specifically for those kinds of qualities. But in our case, we're looking at a different kind of interaction, one that's more of a having to do with the emotions and with our connection to the soul. So this is what we would like to explore, I believe, in that realm. Caroline, I think it's time for you to say something here. I can hear you in the background there, ready to say something. You need some direction. I don't even know if this is the way you expected the whole thing to go today. You just asked for this one video and we took it away from there. So
that's fine. That's perfect, because it's part of it.
I do know that voice is very important right now, and Mr. Keshe has hinted that he might talk about that, I think, in the Knowledge Seekers workshop. Is that why you brought up this the one video that we listened to with his voice in it?
There are a lot of aspects which are in the teachings, which if you actually analyze what he said in this, that was said how long ago, and from where did they take most parts, because this was assembled. From what time period was this? Then you will realize much more of what is happening today, because it was already in place that time. Just analyze what he's talking about. You can even take clips and go on each topic he's bringing up, because each one has such an importance in what he is sharing with all of you without actually being aware of it. Okay. Yes.
Hi. I want to say something about music and sound. Is that okay? I mean, voice.
Just say who you are there, Estella.
This is Estella. Estella, I live in America, but I'm in Argentina right now. And a long time ago, I've been experimenting with voice and sound. And I have in my hand right now a book. It's about human tuning. It's all about using forks. And I got this because physically I didn't feel good, and I was using a specific tone of a frequency and put it in my bones because it helped me with my inflammation. So I kind of discovered that the sound was helping me with my body. And I'm not a musician, okay? And also at the same time, I just enrolled in a class, it's Fundamental of Music Theory in the Coursera, which is explain about music and the part of music, because I wanted to sing. And then I go back to this John Bialyeu, which is a pianist and wrote a book. And he talks about also the voice and how you can use the voice to tune your body with intentions. And also with some friends, we experiment doing healings with intention in our body just by singing and putting the intention to heal the body, and it works. I just want to share that. It's not, but basically what we are right now is when you put your intention and you connect to your inner core soul field, the voice comes connecting from the inside, so it's really powerful. And also letting go the shyness, when you're shy, it's like let it express your voice and with full breath, with no fear. It's beautiful, and it gives you a really nice feel. That's so far what I've been doing.
Well, I missed the video. I just came in a few minutes ago, so I don't know what was shown on the video. But I had asked Mr. Keshe.
The video was just the One Planet, One Nation, where Mr. Keshe has that sort of echoing voice with the background music that we used to play on the Knowledge Seekers workshops. It was just for the audio, not the video part.
Okay.
Yeah, and he explained that we have the full achieving in our hands, and explains about the gangs and how we can balance our emotional body and reach peace and reach our full potential, and our nanoplasma, like when the connection of the fields is strong, and we have our power is beyond imagination, and we are creators because we have the seeds, the foundations or seeds to create.
Yeah, thank you. That was the use of the introduction for the Knowledge Seekers workshops, I think, last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Now, talking about the voice. So, okay, so I know what was said there. Thank you. I asked Mr. Keshe a few weeks ago, and apparently he didn't want to open a can of worms, but he did mention about voice box, if you remember, where the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality, the fields of these two interact, is at the voice box. What that means, I mean, I really don't know, but that is not a coincidence about how the voice and singing and the tones, at least.
What do you mean, Mario? You didn't understand.
No, I mean, I've been trying to understand how we've gone from a spherical ball of fields, to this sausage. And that's what I asked Mr. Keshe a few weeks ago. And he explained it that where the lower jaw is where we've opened up. He explained that actually last year, that we're a sphere, but at the lower jaw, we open it up and becomes a sausage where the digestive tract is, which is what keeps us in the physicality, I guess, the food and all. But
no. That's a different one.
Yeah.
There is only one canal which passes through, one tube which passes through our body. That's from the mouth to the anus. And the
Right.
food goes through it. And through this, the minute it hits the mouth, it gets converted into gans. And from there on, because it becomes in a GAN state, your body is ready to absorb each field strength which you have allowed to go through. And because you don't absorb anything through any wall anywhere, it gets discharged, but with any more fields left, except for the ones get deposit in it, which you don't need or which are too much. So your body is in continuous readjusting itself in field strength. Now, music, with what Estella brought, you are a field strength. So you are an energy on the move. So it is more than normal than when you move and you get or come across music, it's a wave, it's an energy field. So it's all about what is the strength. And if you remember, because he said maybe Mr. Keshe didn't want to open that can of worms, but actually it's not, because you have to put your infinity loop one around your head, passing your throat, and then going down, taking your whole body and coming back on your throat. That's where you can release the energy, because it becomes in a matter state. Because the minute you express a word, it is gone in a matter state. It's an energy field strength which you have released. And he explained it very nice. It's like your physicality and your soul are rubbing just exactly on the height of your throat, which is the crossing point of the infinity loop. And he said, and he pointed quite a few times, because music and speaking and talking and is that you have to listen to the emotion, as I was trying to explain last time with the girl, what she stated and then what came back into the song. So the dynamic is, you can't create a voice if you don't use those two fields to be able to produce it. Because if you even look how your voice box is created, it's not just one single simple thing that is not moving. It is dynamic, which means if you look at and you understand the ganses, you got to create a dynamic field. So people which are in certain tunes and certain heights and vibration and energy, that's why we all speak in different, you can call them mathematic, you can call them tunes, you can call them vibration, you can call them field strength. But actually, if you go to the essence of it, it's a field strength. And we add our emotion, which has a field strength, into the voice. And that's why when you're angry, everybody will know. When you're joyful, everybody will know, because they're not so much listening to the voice, they are receiving faster the field strength than your voice. That's why the lady and the gentleman last week said, I didn't even speak. I was working with my intent, and I straight away got the feedback, hey, can you stop? It's enough. So your field strength works and goes much faster than actually your voice. They already received the message before they even can hear your message. Because all of you know, when you're asleep, if somebody walks into the room, you will know. Because as Mr. Keshe said, your soul never sleeps. So it's always there, it's always present. That's why you sense things before you can see them or before you can hear them, depending on your field strength. If this is on a higher frequency to receive, yes or no. Some people are numb to it or don't feel it or don't hear it. But majority of people can go and remember what are they sensitive to. It's not there, but you already sense it because the field strength moves faster and travels much faster than what you even gonna try even to say. And if you notice, if you try to warn somebody for something that's about to go wrong or happen, you will see, if you're really attentive in that moment, they will react the minute you think, before they can receive your words. And this is what Mr. Keshe is trying to get us all to the level of working through the soul, the field strength. So if you're a bundle and you know you have a certain amount of capacity and you know that you can model it like a plasticine or a field strength, you can use any kinds of examples for people if they can't understand field strength, and then play with it. That's why I keep on trying to ask people to close their eyes. Where are you? And what you create in your mind, you're there instant. So you don't need to move to be there to achieve. And that's why your emotion attached to this intent travels with it in your field strength. And that's why music is so powerful. Because it's not only going through your body, it travels right across all the universe. Even your voice is traveling through the universe because it has no walls to stop, because it's a field strength which just carries on traveling. It's not because you can't hear it that you don't receive it. Because if you go back to the teaching of Mr. Keshe when he explained how a soul comes to existence, it receives the field strength from everywhere at its full potential, and then the body grows up. But the soul has the complete, whatever you can imagine is present. Because you have to analyze, how did it get there? I think we have to start asking more questions, because that's how you can open the debate. Because that opens the thinking tank, as we say. And that gives so much more opportunity to reach many more people. Because if you think that your thinking tank stays with you, no. Because whatever you produce in that thinking tank, let's now go to, beside the thinking tank, let's go to the Keshe Foundation, family, all the knowledge, whatever is connected to the foundation. Whatever you're all doing, every single second, every single minute has an impact not only on this planet, but everywhere. Because you're those moving magnets. You're those moving field strengths. So don't think because there is a wall, it stops. No, 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 no. And that's why this platform is here, specially created, because I wanted to bring certain topics up. And that is, I passed on in my daytime 3 really disturbing messages. And because we know we have made that difference before, I think it's time to unite again, to send our field strength to support certain people around this planet which are really going into a very bad position. And that is in Sudan. It is really bad. And I think we should take 1 minute to unite our field strength. To send all our love and all our care and all our strength, that situation will go in a different path of what is expected to go. There are 5 million people on the brink of starvation. And then I saw before that in Italy, they are literally throwing food in containers because they have to create that kind of condition. We can nourish all those people instantly at this given moment because we know how it works and we don't even need to move. Because we are not bounded, we are not restricted, we are unlimited in our giving and our intent.
I am present.
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 I am present. I am present.
I am present.
There's a long list of those in the chat that also say they are present.
I know. Thank you, Rick. Please, in the next few days, put it on a note on your computer. To go back to the field strength, to keep on adding. We once brought already a lot of change in a condition like this. They reopened the ports so that the food supply could go back into the country. And we all, as knowledge seekers, as Keshe family, we prevented the same kind of disaster. Then I want to wish to bring another topic which passed my view, to increase our attention to certain organizations which are shipping loads of weapons because something is getting created. It does not matter which country or where they're going to, but it would be very nice to give our attention in that matter, that we keep it peaceful for no one to receive the pain from those tools. Because if we wish it that way, we change the course through the energy field strength. Apparently, people can look it up, but there is a knowledge circling that when you use like Om or the word God, and most probably people can test it out, that it has a huge field strength. And maybe people can go and find more information about this. Because in another part of the world, when they teach you to use the word Om, it creates a certain vibration. And I think the people which are very well in mathematics, music, analyzing, they might find the field strength of that. Because they say if you repeat it quite a few times a day, you hold on to that kind of field strength. So in so many ways, your body is kept in a higher field strength because you apply the dynamic and you are tuning yourself, as Estella was bringing in such a nice way, that it has effect on you.
Can I add something here? Because I actually spent quite a lot of time studying that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, there may be a pitch or a particular frequency, but I don't think so. But the idea of it, if you think it will work, that works. Not so much finding the pitch of or definitely not 432. I want to one day I'll show how misunderstood that frequency thing is. But I don't think it's your emotion, like love. I mean, everybody has their own idea of what love is, but whatever that is for you, that's the high level. I think it's the same. I think there isn't a pitch for it.
I'd like to just interject here. I clipped out a cartoon a couple of days ago that would be really appropriate. I can't show it, unfortunately, because it's a copyrighted cartoon, but it illustrates exactly what we're talking about in a way. I'll tell you what the cartoon is about and what it represents. It's got this guy sitting in a field, and he's in sort of a cross-legged position, and he's doing the Om chant. And the cartoon balloon with his voice says O-O-O-O-O-O-O-M, like Om, like he's oming. And in the foreground, there's two cows that are talking. And one cow says to the other cow, "Some holy man, the dude's got it all backwards." So from the cow's point of view, he should be saying moo, not om. So they think he has it backwards. So I think that's interesting that it worked for him. Like Mario said, the oming is working for the human, but it may not work for a cow.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Stella.
Yes, Stella. I took a class before I came. That was like last September, a sound healing class, and they explained the Om. And I have bad memory, but I just want to say a simple idea, but there is an explanation of the Om, of the unspoken world and the spoken world, like the feel and the space of the sound when we are here in matter, like no matter and matter. And I was looking at my notes, and when Caroline said about the infinite loop, and it's the interaction of the fields in nature, I found, and it's basically the interaction of two fields is the infinite loop, and the box of where the voice is that dot of connection of the two fields. So we just need to connect. I mean, I don't think we need to worry about it, because anything comes from the soul is like perfection. We just need to do it with our intention to connect to our infinite one, which is our own voice, and bring it in. It's just simple like that. It's not complicated. And And the body, because we need to connect to our generators in our body and the generator in our inner core, and understand that each breath and each beat of our heart and everything is functioning at the same time. So it's like in a choir, and so it's not only our voice, it's our whole body is doing the voice. So we need to see the big picture of our body as a voice box. That's how I see it.
There's
and
sorry, go ahead.
And the magnificence of bringing the fields of the unspoken voice, which is our soul field, can bring it into the voice. That's the excitement of the emotional body. Sorry, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to mention a comment in the live stream from Ursula. It mentions somebody, Greg Braden, shows how 3 Japanese doctors healed a woman with a tumor with their voice sounds and intentions. The tumor was gone in a few minutes. So this is just an example of the power of the voice, but it's not, like we were saying, it's not the voice, it's not the actual sound or the voice, it's the fields actually that are the that come before the voice that are actually doing the work, I believe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry.
In a way, our voice or the sound of our voice is like has been talked about with Caroline. It's the leftover. It's the residue or remainder of the fields. It's not the thing itself. It's become once removed in a way.
We need to understand that the voice is not only at one level. We are multidimensional levels. So the voice, if our perception comes through our ears, but also your skin feels the vibration. So the sound is not only one, it is not dimensional. I think it's multidimensional in terms of how we perceive the sound.
There was a great quote from Armin, I mentioned it a week ago or so, where he says, the sound, you hear the sound in your brain, not in your ears. So it's like you're hearing it from a different place than the physicality ears.
Well,
yeah, that's definitely correct. I know that's true, in a musical sense for sure. But here's the thing. The voice box is where the fields are scraping of the soul and the physicality. Now, if we're going to travel space and we want to invert the physicality into the soul, then what's the, is there a use for this voice box in that process? Is singing, is the voice the key to that? Or a key to that? Maybe not the key, but there's significance in that, I think.
Well, I think creation manifests all these different levels so we can experiment. And then everything has a loop or a retroalimentation feed of whatever goes out come back. When it comes back of that voice will be the experience of that moment at that time. So the soul elevates.
I have a question, please.
Go ahead. Is that Jalal?
Hi, Jalal here. The voice box, isn't that due to the physicality, interaction between physicality and control by emotion? And when it will make a loop between physicality and emotion. That's all.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Mr. Keshe was pretty clear. The soul field radiating out as a sphere, and the physicality at the heart, I think, is, if that's correct, is more or less a sphere, however it makes its physicality. And where those two are scraping against each other makes a sound. And we learn to utilize that. So it's the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality, where those fields are scraping against each other, is where we get the sound.
Wouldn't that be, wouldn't the heart be the emotion? Similar to what
guys,
Jalal was just saying?
October 4th, 2017, in the class we discussed the location of the soul. The physicality was the amino acids, interaction of the fields of the sun of the earth, emotions fed through senses. We have 4 elements, CHON, and the soul is fed by the fields of everything, including emotions. That's how the universe works. And I took those notes that day. And that's, in the same day, he talked about the infinite loop, how is the interaction of the fields up below, outside, inside. And so I think that's
This is
the
Moshfegh.
part.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
In order for the soul of man to interact with another field, it has to be of similar strength. So it has to be, it cannot be the emotion level field, which is much weaker field. It has to be very close to the field of the soul of physicality. So if you, I'll add a reference point, which is if you read fairy tales, often in fairy tales, they say you wish or you pray or you say something with your soul, with your body and soul, which is wishing part, and the soul part, which is the soul of man, which is the certainty part. The soul knows that it can do it. The physicality wishes. When the two combines, which is reflected, which is the two field interacting to create the voice, be it Om, be it the disease go away, whatever the case may be. But the two fields, which are at the soul level, interacting with each other of similar strength. And that's when the interaction can happen. If one of the field is much weaker, it won't. So the voice is an interaction, in this case, of these two intentions, which is our existence in the physicality, trying to, wishing that this go away. And then the soul gives its certainty and the power. And then this two interaction is manifested through the voice. So we are engaging both sides in achieving this. So the effect, the outcome is very rapid. Anyway, I hope this brings an additional light to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Moshfegh. Is there anybody else that would like to add something at this point? Ursula mentions, I healed the tumor of my dog with plasma spray and loving feeling intentions. Works in China, in Japan, in Ghana, wherever it is working.
So does the emotion have a soul, or is it the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality in the heart? But the heart is half emotion and half physicality. So is that the soul of the emotion, like Jalal was saying?
Maybe it depends if you got heart or if you got soul. Maybe different for different people, is what I'm saying, depending where they're coming from, as it said.
This is Moshfik again. So the physicality is the lowest strength. As you go deeper, then you have a higher strength, which is the transitional matter, which is the emotion. And then you have even further strength, the prime, what do you call it? I can't remember the term right now, but it is the primal field. Principal field, yes. Principal field, so everything, a stone, an object, everything has principal fields. And so when the heart carries the emotion, which is the transitional field, but within the transitional field, there is the principal field. So wherever there is emotion, there is the soul driving that emotion, which is the interaction with the physicality and the soul. So emotion is a manifestation, it's the transitional part. So it's there. And once we can make the direct connection between the physicality and the soul, then we have emotion, but it's balanced. And this is what all these saints or people who strive to become mystically enlightened, they try to achieve this balanced state through meditation or whatever that means. I mean, there are different techniques, meditation being only one of them, one of many. So once you have this principal field and the physical field operating in harmony, and then you have your transitional field is there, but it can manifest, but it is at a very controlled fashion, which is what meditation is you're trying to reach a balanced point where, once again, this balanced point or the point between physicality and the soul level. So this midpoint is a very interesting element. Mr. Keshe talks about it in various ways. And once we know how to identify or perhaps have a more clue of how to use it and being more balanced, we all talk about being more balanced field, then this connection is there. The doorway is open, as they say. The doorway to heaven, or whatever one may call it. There's different words for it. But in healing operations, like saying Om or that chanting exercise these doctors did, they momentarily opened up this area where this interaction was very strongly operating. So the effect was immediate. And those who are used to operating that way, and they can do a lot of things without displaying much in a way. So there is no emotion, not much physicality, only the soul operating at a very high strength and making things happen. And I can tell a story. This is actually a kind of neat story. It's about the story of a martial artist, and he was getting trained, and he achieved mastery of it. And one day he was walking down a busy city at night, and down the road in a busy street in some strange city, and there were some bandits who were there, and they attacked him, and he was skilled enough to defend himself very easily. And then his training went on. A few years passed. He found himself in another city in a similar situation, but this time there were a few others in his neighborhood who were attacked by these bandits, and he was much more skilled than before. And he could easily defend these people, and everybody was protected by this single guy who was very capable. And his training went on. Many years passed. Once again, he found himself in a similar city. This time he walked down the street, nothing happened, for he is a true master now. So I thought this story relates to this interaction of 3 levels. Thank you.
Rick,
Hello?
Rick, can I ask something, please?
Mm-hmm.
Can you bring up a Magrov picture?
Yeah, I think so.
With the three stickers showing inside it?
Cutaway view of the MagGrab unit from the Keshe Foundation. I don't know if we have a picture of that, but maybe somebody has a picture just of a regular MagGrab, or I can find one in one of the pictures somewhere.
Because it's not coincidence that what we taught today in the morning as a private student and what Caroline brought up, there is some connection. And I would like to put my point of view here. Even if it's drawing.
Yeah, I've got one here that Vince has supplied to me. Let me just get that set up. Sort of a generic MagGrab unit. Does that satisfy what you need, Jalal?
It's okay. We can annotate on that. No problem.
I'll try to find one. I think we have a picture in the blueprint teaching. That would be a good one. So go ahead.
Can I annotate on that, please?
Yeah, I think you should be able to.
No?
Maybe you have to be, promote you to a panelist. Maybe you're not allowed to play with your crayons unless you're a panelist. Can you annotate there, Jalal? Hello, Jalal?
Yes, yes, Eric. I think I can.
Okay, great.
Okay. You see the first paragraph here and the second here. From Mr. Keshe teaching, he said the first one is due to the physicality. Second one is the emotion. And the third one is the soul. Let us leave this one here. We don't need to interfere with that one. Between this one and this one here, sorry, between the two here, there is a gap. And between this one here and this one, there is a gap. The first gap, if we are saying the first one down is physicality, the highest in physicality reach the lowest, let's say, in emotion. So what that mean? If you want to connect the first one to the second, you need intermediary between them. So in physicality, what is the highest part in physicality, which is intermediary with the emotion? It's the heart. He can play a big role in physicality and also it is between the physicality and the emotion. So for the physicality, the soul of physicality, that means the highest in physicality is the heart. So here, between the two, sit the heart. Okay, if we go to the other one, the emotion part, which is the highest in the emotion part, which connects the emotion and the soul. Which part do you think, guys? What is the soul of emotion? The highest one is love. I don't have mouse, so I must tap here and so. So this two part, this is the souls of each one. Physicality have a soul, is heart, and emotion have a soul, is love. I don't speak about the third one. I leave the third one for you. So if you are going with the music, look, what we are teaching here and what we learned, that we reach the peace condition. Whatever you use, you need to reach this one. So which part in this stickers, and this stickers, as Mr. K is saying, is confirmed that it's your body, confirming that is your solar system, confirming that is your universe. It's all in this whole thing. Everything you imagine, it's in this 3 stickers. Because this is an entity. There is no difference between this one and your body. There is no difference between this one and the water. There is no difference between this one and the sun. All of them working the same system. One take and give, elevate the other, the second elevate the third gives to the totality and beyond. What is the purpose from it? If you want to use music, beautiful. If you want to use the word, also beautiful. But if you can hear another entity and it's not you as a person, can you hear a plant? Can you communicate with the plant? Can you hear her voice? And then, do you think that plants like your music, what you are playing or what you are saying? Or this another entities and we know they are here. So the meaning here, don't limit yourself and don't waste your energies in different parts here and there. Music is beautiful. I played music since I am 5 years old, and I went to musical school and I worship music. But did it serve our purpose here? Is it, maybe it's the fast way to achieve a peace. Why not? But is it really? Ask you this question for yourself. No need to tell me, because I know what I know. This is my, what you call it, my information, what is in my mind. I cannot force it on you, and you cannot force it on me. Ask yourself, this is the right way to achieve peace? If is it yes, yeah, why not? It's the same thing. not wishing, you do. When we sit here and we done something with the Dominic and we done something with in Africa, we didn't shout, hello, make peace, hello. No. We shout inside ourselves, from our hearts, from our soul, without music, without talk, because vibration, it takes maybe from here to Africa, it will take 1 minute. With the soul, it will take 1 part of million of second. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Rick.
Very good, Jalal. Thank you for that input. Caroline, do you have something you'd like to say about that, perhaps?
It is beautiful explained, isn't it, Rick?
Very nicely done. Very simple and straightforward and clear.
It is beautiful.
Sorry, I didn't tell you to take 5 minutes to drink coffee.
No.
Yes. I watch a person who record plant singing with a specific instrument, and they sound like a crystal music, very beautiful. And yeah, I think the soul communicates through sound, and when we do that interconnection of fields, that's how. But if the emotional body is not balanced, it's hard to reach, to open the door. And that's where the environment is crucial. And with the gangs, help us to balance and harmonize the emotional body to be able to reach the fields of the soul of the man. And I know that because all my whole life, I try to find a way to do it without the gangs, the zinc especially. So I think I want to say thank you to everybody. This is beautiful. So.
Can I add something here? There's music that's at the sound level, at the matter level, within a certain hertz. This is not the music of the spheres that the ancients spoke about. The ratios, the proportions of the harmonic overtone series is infinite. It goes in both directions. It's not, when thinking about music, I think it's a mistake for us to think in terms of singing and playing instruments at this particular level, at these tempos and these frequencies. It's the music of the spheres. It's the harmony of the universe. It applies at every level, at trillions times trillions times trillions of hertz. And vibrations per second is irrelevant in the universe, but an octave exists everywhere, double a vibration rate. And I think Mr. Keshe has said this very early on. The plasma, all the plasmas, my understanding, has a heartbeat. And that's the frequencies. It's there's the heartbeat of the Unicos, of the creator. He's got a heartbeat. And twice that frequency, 4 times that frequency of beating, and 3 times, or 3 to 5, 4 to 3, and so on. These ratios will harmonize with it. And
Yeah.
that's,
but you have a drawing right there in front of you. They show the generators. And I think what I'm talking about is the unspoken and the spoken. We have a loop where the interaction of fields. As a human, if I know my intention is connect to the soul of the man, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna not question myself about all the theoretical aspects. I just put the intention and the feel strength coming from my heart and from my gut and from my whole body to like reach the soul of the man. That's what it counts. I think the feels are smart.
Well, I don't know. I think that's what I mean, is that you don't count it as mathematical numbers. It's a connection. It's a connection. Yeah. But those are harmonies. They do have ratios. But you don't count.
When it comes from the soul, it's perfect.
Right,
we don't normally consciously, or we're not normally consciously aware of the ratios is the thing. The same as we're not normally consciously aware of the ratios of the dimensions of a person's face. There's a whole science behind the ratios of a face. And that's why faces will be pleasing to us or not so pleasing. We get attracted to a certain face, basically, because of the ratios. It's directly related to those ratios. And we're not normally conscious of, oh, I really like that woman's face because her nose is in the exact ratio of her eyes and her cheeks and the ratio. So the more we get into thinking about the ratios, we miss the actual emotion that's attached to that response, and we would miss the opportunity of seeing deeper into what those ratios are in terms of instant response rather than theoretical. So I know that Mario, because it's kind of this dicey line between, because we're using words to construct these ideas and concepts, which are actually all once removed from the actual thing itself, and which is the base with music and all of the physicality manifestations, basically.
Well, but it's sort of like your brain is doing the trigonometry. It's doing the math.
Right.
Doing it automatically, and that's
but it's
why
all in the moment. There's no. There's no.
It's a linking of the harmony, and that's why somebody's attracted to somebody and not attracted to somebody else. You might think somebody's beautiful, and somebody else thinks they're not so beautiful because they just don't have the same. They're not in tune exactly the same way.
So the ratios are actually, in a way, different for each individual, or it's personal in a sense, but yet there's universal ratios at the same time. So it's an interesting way to look at it.
Basically, golden ratio applies to everything.
But how would one person think that someone is attractive and someone else would not think they're attractive? Like, look at different cultures or different sizes of people, for example, and different, generational things and so on. Why is it that, I mean, we do have certain things that are almost what we call universal beauty, but that's not even universal because each culture will have its own, viewpoint of that. They may not think that what we think of as somebody who won a beauty contest or something, and in the developed world may not be the same perspective from somebody from some other point of the planet that they think a different look is beautiful, and to them they can't understand why we think a certain stereotype look is beautiful. And even that is questioned by the people that are doing the whole beauty thing to start with now and so on. So as they say, beauty is more than skin deep. And what is underneath? What is the trigger and constructs and so on that are involved with that?
Well, that's easy to understand when you look at music. In other words, part of it is cultural and part of it is ratio based. It's out of tune. It's out of tune. But if you go to Chinese music, to traditional Chinese music, they're actually playing with the correct ratios, but in a certain scale that Westerners are not used to. And even to us, we're so used to the temper tuned that when we hear natural tuning, we will go, wow, that sounds flat. It's not flat. Our tuning has become off. So a lot of it is culturally based. But at the end of the day, when you get right down to it, it's the same ratios. But, and also you're a complex chord. You're not just a note. You're a symphony.
Actually, I think it's a field strength. It's not.
Well,
it's all about the field. It's all about the field strength.
Yes, but there's not just one field strength.
But that's the whole point. It's a whole symphony of field strength because, like the human body has this, like we were talking about.
Well, and then that's why somebody would be attracted to some kind of music.
But
let me
finish.
Well, okay.
So the Earth also has her generators, and the Earth has a voice somehow. So we need to see in the big picture. It's not only the humans, It's just now discovering how things interrelate, how the fields connect, and how the field strength is generated. The more connected we are, the less connected, the less field strengths, and the ratios are not good, and you're not manifesting this beautiful proportional body, because your emotions, because that is that, there are things to heal and to balance. So the field strength gets better and proportionally. It's all a big composition. It's like a music song. That's how I see it.
If I was saying, if you grow up listening to traditional Chinese music, it sounds harmonious to you. It invokes emotions of love and all the rest in the heavy Chinese opera. There's deep levels of understanding that Chinese people can relate to. But if you're a Westerner, it's like gongs and weird sounding instruments, and you just don't find it attractive. But the ratios are still the same harmony, just different intonations, different positions. No, it's all.
So one question that comes up, Mario, when you bring this up is there objective music? Is there something that is universal that will tend to elevate?
Yes.
Have some other effect that we can more or less guarantee or be sort of consistent with, that would be,
absolutely. The octave. The octave is universal. In the Chinese, they will have an octave. It's in tune. It doesn't matter where you go. They can divide the octave in many notes as you want, but the octave will always be in tune with the same comma everywhere. So there you go. And the fifth and the fourth, those intervals, the first, second, and third, the first and second harmonics, those ratios, 2-to-1 and 3-to-2, those are universal everywhere.
So a person anywhere should be able to recognize the harmonics of that, whether it's discordant, let's say, or harmonious. And
that's right.
We sense that. We cringe when something is disharmonious or is conflicting sounds, but we feel relaxed, or we maybe not relaxed is the right word, but we feel positively influenced, let's say, or influenced in some way that's in a positive direction. When we have these, when we feel what we call is harmony. So not to say there isn't a purpose for the discordant points. Lots of composers use discord as part of
not with the octaves. But not with the octaves. With the seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths, you have a huge variety. A huge variety gives the everything in music. But if everything is octaves, then it's boring. It's not. It's and even fifths, or it's boring. So those.
What do you mean boring? Like, can you give an example? What would be an example of that? What kind of song or music or sounds would be an example of the boring octave or repetition?
Well, you would just have one note repeating in octaves, and it would just be the same note again and again and again and again and again. But the creator didn't do that. It gave, in a simple way, the 7 musical tones. So you have variety, and those 7 tones within the octave allow for a huge variety. You can have major and minor thirds. You can have all different intonations that still will link. You can still link to a third that's flatter or sharper. You have a minor third, it's sort of sadder. You have a major third, it's sort of happier. These kind of things.
But even the 7 notes, are they arbitrary, or could it be 8, 10, 12?
Well, you can divide an octave
octaves are in 12, for example, right?
I divided an octave into 53 different notes that I think are within the comma. So in our level, I think there are 54 notes in an octave, 53 and then the octave. But again, it divides up. If you zoom in, you have a spectrum. You have a spectrum, so you can go in between. But for linking with sympathetic vibration, then there are 53. But that's only at one level of existence. Again, if you zoom in, it's like the Mandelbrot series. You zoom in, you'll find that within each of those commas, there's an octave of commas. And and you zoom into there, and there's another octave of those. So but the octave is, I made man in my image. Twice the frequency, twice the heartbeat. For every 2 times the creator beats, or 1 time the creator beats, you beat 2 times, or 4 times, or 8 times, or 16 times, this kind of thing. And it's a replica. It's universally accepted to be the same note.
Mario?
Yeah.
If I ask you something, can you do it for me, please?
If I can.
I think, maybe you can, but not much. Before you play music, you bring, how many creatures we have here? About 1,500 kind of creature, yes? That's what can we notice and what we see. Do you think if you bring this 1,500 creature and put them and you play whatever you like, universal music, you know it?
Well,
which one from them will come to you? Which one from them will run away?
Every single creature in the universe, every creature on this planet, for sure, responds to music. Music soothes a savage beast.
Response, yes, but wait.
But listen, I can create music in my mind without playing my guitar. And it is the same thing. Entities in the universe that literally can communicate, like we're filtering it out. But if I play music in my mind right now, anybody who in the universal community wants to hear it, they can hear it. Because I can do it in my mind with the right ratios. I have the training in the background, I know how to do it. But you don't need the training in the background. Everybody can do it. This is us filtering it out. You don't need to play.
But let me ask you one question, please. Do you think if you play this music in your mind, and when you play it in your mind, that means your field will go out from your mind? Yes?
I know it. I know it for a fact.
Okay, wait. Do you think your field, it will not do harm to another entity?
No, impossible.
How
Not
you
me,
know?
anyway. I mean,
How you know? How you know?
well, for one, my intentions, and two, they're the ratios of the fields. Take them or don't take them. They cannot do harm.
You are spreading your fields. Wait a minute. You are spreading your fields.
Yes, I'm just offering my energy. Nothing more. Nothing more. I'm creating art in my mind. And anybody who wants to listen can listen. I know entities in the universe listen. Whether they like it or not is not, I don't know. That's not the point. But they don't have to take it if they don't want to listen to it. If they don't want it, they don't.
The purpose here from Mr. Kash teaching that you need to know. This is the whole teaching. This is the whole teaching of Mr. Kash. This is in my mind.
You need to know
that
what?
You need to know that your strength will not affect any other entity, because for them you are a monster.
Well, but my intentions are to create art. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for myself. And if anybody wants, they can have it. If
the elephant come to you, his intention, he will lie on your chest, that he will take from you some love.
Well, I'm not sure
he will clutch you.
Well, we all are giving energy all the time, whether we like it or not. Now, I don't understand your point. I really don't. I'm sorry, if somebody else can help me understand.
The point here, from what I understand from Mr. Kash, you will leave the whole of physicality and the emotion, because this is what we use for thousands of years without creating anything benefit to the universe. Whatever you are using in this situation from physicality and emotion, what you call the best of your emotion, love, it's due to your condition. Now your condition is feeding. You are extracting energies from everywhere. So whatever you do, your what you call it, your skull is nothing but needs. Whatever you do, whatever you play, whatever you say, it's only depending on needing. When you come to the third stacker, the soul, and you know, and you connect with the soul, and you speak with the soul, and she speaks to you, then you don't need these two stackers, the first and the second. You don't need them, because they vibrate in different level. It's not the level of the soul. And then you will understand different thing. This is different part of music. This is different part of talk. This is different part of energy. You don't influence in any entity. You don't come near to any entity even until they allowed you or you allowed them. Maybe outside, if you go to in space, some entity is playing some music, and this music is like supernova. And then this is also music from this planet. Supernova is also vibration and frequencies and lights and everything. This is magnetic of this entity, whatever it is, an universe or an ant in that position. So he will kill you so far. And he will tell you, I'm sorry, this is my entity is peace.
Well, Jalal, how are you going to go into space if you don't? I mean, how do we avoid engaging in the supernova of sound, let's say, or whatever you call it?
Two things.
Supernova.
Two things.
Because,
And Mr. Cash said two things. And reader, you go with a spaceship, and this spaceship is containing you and what you have now, with all your bad emotion, love emotion, what you need from eating, drinking, whatever, because it's contained in this spaceship and have fields. They cannot interfere with any fields until they allow you to come in this place. And the second, you go with your soul, because your soul is from universal community. So she know its position, she know where to go, she know how to connect, she know how to communicate.
right. Well, that's what I'm saying is there will be a position, and you don't have to worry about getting fried by the supernova, or if you do,
Well,
then you take that in stride, basically, because it's all one.
I think is you create that directionality according how you tune into. It's almost like the control center of your soul, of the soul of the man, is in a specific position, and you're working here from this generator that we have in front of us, and there is another generator in another location, and depends on the how we open or we articulate the windows of the control of the field strength, is that's how we use our directionality, and you tune into different places, because every place is tuning in a specific vibration or field strength, because it's a manifestation of another soul. So it's a communication between the soul of the man, but through different channels. Like there's the nova is doing a song, and you doing another song, and you sing into the nova, and basically you tune together, and you're exchanging your fields, and the nova is exchanging the fields with you, and you're able to vibrate like a dance, and you're exchanging your fields. And that's how the communication is between the different let's say relative generators. They are in this dimension, which is being human and here and the nova, and then you communicate your fields at that level. But in another position, which is in a different dimension, is the big generator, which is the soul of the man, because we are not only at one level, we are multi-level generators that are working at the same time.
Well, yeah, I agree with that totally. And I guess, can I defend my position here?
Yes, no problem.
You know, I became a jazz musician because I discovered something that my teacher used to call it talking to the angels. When I'm playing with, usually some people really can do this when they're by themselves. Art Tatum could do this, a number of musicians could do this. It takes a higher level. But certainly when you're playing music with another person and you get that feedback loop, you get that a thing happens. I've mentioned this a lot of times before, and you're not in the room. You're not there. You are in another level. This is a soul-to-soul interaction. This is the reason that I play music. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I want to make that thing happen. That's the purpose of it. That's a soul-to-soul interaction. That's not an emotional thing. Yes, it affects the emotions of people, but I mean, when that happens, if the audience, it requires the audience to be looking for that to happen too. They will also have that happen. They will also be talking to the angels. And everybody's talking to their own angels too. I'll be talking to my angels, and the bass player's talking to his angels, the drummer's talking to his angels. We're all talking to, I don't even know the people I'm not talking to the people I'm playing with. So it is definitely space travel. It is dream. It is another level. And it's from the soul. It's not the same as making a record to make money and using music as a weapon, like Rick was saying earlier. There's a big difference. When I do music, I'm trying to communicate with the universal community. That's the whole purpose of it. So there's that. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, that brings up a really big idea that you just said, that is that the whole purpose of music, to communicate with the universal community? If so, that's a pretty big idea.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the beginning. I mean, I live a couple of blocks away from a huge Buddha temple, and they chant all the time. Now, you know, the Buddhist monks, I mean, I don't know anybody personally there, but there's a lot of corruption in all of the churches. So I don't think that they're really talking to the universal community. But there's certain musicians that I work with, we do. And it's few. There are few of the musicians that do this. Most of the musicians are in it for the money. They don't care about that. Most people don't care about that. And it doesn't take music either. Art, dance, I mean, anything people do for the love of it, then they really want to do this. Not for any personal physicality gain, but to get to another level. I mean, Rick, you do it all the time. I saw your Rick, Mr. Fix-It, Rick. I mean, you know, we all can do it, and it's not about music. It is about those ratios and linking and connecting, but we do that, we're doing that all the time. Every time you move your finger, you move your arm, you're just repositioning the harmony. I mean, you're just the soul is conducting the orchestra. It's all that. You don't do the math. You don't do the frequencies. You just, you know, it's I don't know how to say it any different than that. Sorry.
It's all automagic. Automagically happens. It's sort of a funny word that I like to use for that kind of thing. It's automatic and it's magic. It's automagic. But yeah, it's a good point. This connectedness. And is it possible that someone can conduct that kind of music and still make a living at it? Is the commercial aspect, does that necessarily destroy that connection, or is it just hard to maintain, do you think, with the commercial part?
You know, that the Loneliest Monk said, it's a beautiful art, terrible business. I mean, for me, you know, I've always made enough. I've always made enough to make a living. So, okay, I have enough. I never have any more, but I think the universe is telling me if you get more than you need, you'll probably ruin your life and destroy it. So that's the universe's way of keeping me, you know, honest, so to speak, or whatever. But I always have enough. This is all I do. Except when I discovered Mr. Keshe a few years ago, I sort of switched instruments. I hardly ever practice guitar anymore. But I've learned a new instrument, plasma. I'm learning, I mean, that's the way I look at it. I really do. So I study this, you know. Yeah, it's a terrible business. And, you know, so many, if you want to get to a certain level of it, you really have to go to the dark side. You really have to go in this Illuminati thing. And it's really very, very dark thing in the music industry. And while I agree with Mr. Keshe about Albert Einstein, his brother was a music historian, Alfred Einstein, wrote a music history book in 1907 or something. He said, when they finally industrialize music, it'll be the end of it as an art form for that generation, which they fully industrialize music now. So it's not an art form, but I'm a jazz musician. You know, I don't play, I don't do pop music. I'm not on high level records. I'm not interested in that, you know? But I mean, you can make a living. I mean, luckily I have so far. Kind of broke. I don't have any money here, but I always have enough. So life is good, you know.
I hear you there, Caroline. Would you like to?
Oh, sorry, my mic was open. I must have been very quiet with my mic open.
So far, so good. Is there anything you'd like to say at this?
I'm sorry.
Okay. No.
Okay. If we have finished the chapter with the music, then what would other people like to come and ask or share? Or what have they noticed in the last few weeks changing? Anybody, any questions or adding?
There was a question in the chat. I don't know if it's what you mean, but Anonymous asks, I wanted to ask about dreams and the time of communication and the connection with the soul. Past events, dreams, or experiences have to do with that communication?
Repeat that again, please.
He says, I wanted to ask about dreams and the time of communication and the connection with the soul. Past events, dreams, or experiences have to do with that communication?
Mr. Keshe gave that explanation in his teachings recently. Your soul never sleeps. So your soul is always present. It's we actually are creating the fact and the problem that we need to sleep because we are creating chaos in our body. We are taking too much energy through food that the body needs more energy to digest it than actually it's serving its purpose. So when you call dreams, it is your presence in that moment, that given time, which is always present. So you must have been desiring or been wishing or been busy with something that these certain things appear towards you. They manifest themselves because you're on the same frequency level. As we explained last time, when you go in a certain field strength, things will reveal themselves because you're on the same level. So your soul can go anywhere. That's why when you close your eyes, you are anywhere you desire, where you wish, where you create, you're there and you can do. You have no limits. It's only your physicality, which I've noticed, I tried to bring it last time, that a lot of people don't or cannot distinguish the difference between the physicality and the soul. What is the soul? What is the physicality? The physicality is, as Mr. Keshe says, it's something that is created, which is like a leech onto your soul. So it consumes energy, and we have noticed the more you have excessive energy in your body through food, it has to go somewhere. So by reducing food, you will notice, and a lot of feedback came on that when we went in those topics, you sleep less, you're less tired. Your soul is ever present. And you can create more paths where you want to visit. And that can come in when you sleep. But they call it dreams, but it isn't. We have to give it a name, but in reality, your soul never sleeps. And as Mr. Keshe explained, you can call upon anything that, let's say, which is connected with you, let's say past or even further past, because people were asking questions. And Mr. Keshe says, yes, because you receive from everything, from all over the universe. So you are already carrying all the information. It's just, are you tuning into that frequency or that field strength or not? That's why you see children coming up and they call them reincarnations or gifted, or no, because they are at this given moment, this given time, tuned in that frequency, so that gate is open, so they can use it. You're not short of anything. You are complete. You know everything. And whatever you go through is getting recorded as well. So you add to the totality because you've been given and created from the totality. Otherwise, you would not be here today. The only thing we keep on, I've been in touch with a few people in the last few days, and I don't know why they pop up. Just, you know, as I said, when you need to be somewhere, you're there, or something pops up because you're just simply, it just comes your way. And they're usually in a situation which is very stressful, extremely stressful. And I'm going to read you what I replied. Maybe it will put a different light to certain things, because I try to, how can I say? You know, we say we give our shoulder under to somebody to support them. I can only use the wisdom Mr. Keshe has been sharing with all of us. And I just came across a condition, a situation. And I said, now I explain how to vision, and ask your children, each one, to create a wish that will be in the benefit of a few members of the family. something they really want from their heart, and create this wish, and don't share with nobody once the wish is complete. They do not talk or think about it. Just let it go to the universe to accumulate the field strength to be able to come back. They can write it on a small piece of paper in a short wish. So, but don't share with no one else. They should just keep it to themselves. Now, for you personally, take the time, really vision without any doubt that it cannot be achieved. You create with your eyes closed, that is in the benefit of, let's say, the children. You visualize that there is all the food already on the table. You see yourself already driving in the car you desire. You see yourself already in the perfect job and already receiving your wages every month. You don't stop creating this beautiful vision every day, every minute of the day, and don't let go of you creating this abundance for your children and your family. And at the same time, your children are already adding from their part what is their wish to add to the family. Even if it's so big, don't put any restrictions on creating. Just keep it on. Whatever isn't in place, you create the vision of the opposite. And be steadfast in your positive, not letting go. And please never use negative in your talking, because why should you not understand that you can reverse and you can change your whole surroundings positive rather than negative? It's the same effort, isn't it? So why waiting? You are the creator, nobody else. So why not bombarding everything with positive and reverse the whole situation? Don't hold on to anything that isn't possible. Because it's the same effort, it's the same burning, wasting, using energy. But if you use and are prepared to use and spend so much energy to be in a bad situation, then just do the reverse, do the opposite, because it doesn't ask more energy, but your whole situation will change. And I've had quite a few in the last few days which are struggling, and this is the only way I can give them a hand, because they understand that when I'm eating, I need to use a certain amount of energy. When I'm talking, I'm going to use a certain amount of energy. When I'm angry, I'm using a certain amount of energy. But what if I just do the opposite and try to be aware of it? Because I also said, put stickers everywhere. Create a smile on your face. Just change the whole field strength. But this is the easiest way to get it across to people. They are already having everything. It's just the decision what you're going to create out of the same amount of energy. And this is the same with your vision, in your dreams. It's depending on your field strength, what will come towards you, and you can even wish before you go to sleep or create the vision. I would love to go and see this, or I would love to go and meet my great grandfather or great mother or my mom or my dad. Because you create that field strength of the same, then you create the path of the dynamic for it to reveal itself. If people can accept that they are not short of anything and they are at any given point, and it is not easy because it's the habitual your environment, your social structure, what you have been taught, how you've been brought up. The line is so fine to put a separation, but I have noticed that even when you go in oh, I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have said this, or I shouldn't have gotten angry, you know, the minute you realize, Mr. Keshe explained very well, he said, when you realize it and you change because you pay attention to it, it's already done and forgiven. It's already changed. So at any given moment, you can reposition yourself, as Rick has shown so many times with the magnets. It's just, you can stay in the sofa and not move, or you do the move, but use the right direction of the energy. And when you can just simply, even by a simple explanation, just give them a kickstart, that they start making that change from realizing with a few simple words, you know, be on top of positive, just be on top of it. Don't let it go. You already changed their field strength, but through themselves, not through you. You can only add your field strength that it goes, that it can stay in it. We just went through I Am Present with Sudan. If you go, you don't even need to go. You know, all of you, how bad it is when people have no sufficient enough food just to keep going. It's it's not one generation. It's 2, 3 generations which are really getting badly damaged. So you're not picking up one generation, you are going to pick up 3 generations. And because we are aware of it, now we change already the position for them to receive whatever they need, unconditionally. At the same time, I open the field strength towards those families and people which are struggling. But I'm trying to give them the hand to do it themselves. Because when they're on top of it, they start making the change. They're no longer the same person as before I wrote this message. Because something somewhere will click start, and this is what you're all doing. Even all these discussions and debates coming on the table, it kickstarts somebody somewhere to look or to reveal or do research to find something for somebody else to serve somewhere else. So you're all one big dynamic family. It doesn't matter we have our differences. And it doesn't matter somebody sometimes loses his temper because he has done so many hours and can't stay fully alert anymore, or loses his patience a little bit faster. Because we all know that sometimes not every day is a struggle. It's sometimes every day not so easy. But somehow, with some few good words, we change. So all the questions which are coming on the table and all the points which are getting shared among all of us are kickstarting so much more. And it is beautiful to see you all coming on the table and I did this and I went there and I know this and that. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's happening in most of your teachings. And I'm really calling to the knowledge seekers, even if you don't speak English, try to make a bridge to exchange what you have done on work in your language, that it can go to the teams, it can be translated, that we can see what you have done and we can share our work with you. There should be no limitation because of language or culture or mentality or belief. We already cleaned this all up. That's why I started the starting point with this, with what Mr. Keshe brought forward. It's how you're going to position yourself, how strong you are, that you accept that you have everything. And even it's a day-to-day struggle but the things start changing. Because sometimes I get a flashback. I said, oh, Caroline, you should have stood still. But at that moment of time, you know, it's a habit. It's something which has been there for years. You don't erase that so simple, which is very understandable. But when you go on top of it and you reposition that, oh, okay, I will pay more attention. That's why I usually, most of the days, I try to mark my hand with a cross on it. And people sometimes ask me, why is that there? I said, it has to be there. Because that means for me a no, to support me, not to walk in my old habit traps. It's a small reminder, a little cross on my hand that says, be careful, don't go in an old pattern. And the minute you realize that, even though sometimes you're already in the middle of it, you reposition yourself. So you come out of it much faster.
Caroline?
Yes?
Can I say add something to what you said?
Of course you can.
This goes to when the emotional body is off the peace position and we get kind of like in a freeze mode of anxiety, stress, like you don't have the drive to take a better position, and in order to break that situation, it's good to find what works for each person to be able to recover the peace and the still point where you can think better. And this is crucial to reposition our fields to shift and the repositioning would be to like, okay, the situation is showing me like maybe I got upset because I'm upset with my husband, for example. But in reality, instead, I am upset with my husband. It's like I position my feels in the wrong way because I'm creating that. So by reposition my feels and thinking and envision a different, the right way I want to see it, so I'm in peace, I will shift my feel exchange with my husband. So I changed the situation within inside me, and it got harmony. But if I didn't get myself into a still point where I was able to think the situation, why I was feeling it that way, I wouldn't be able to shift and reposition myself. It's almost like you have to experience that, realize that you're getting stressed out or upset when an emotional mode that is not positive, and think about it as an observer to be able to say, well, what can I do to change this? And and the universe will work with you. Yeah. Because it's easy to say it, but then in the practical aspect, you know, that's why I'm saying I'm adding this, because I've been working on this way. Am I clear?
I think so. Thank you. We do have some people with their hands up I'd like to address, if we can. Mehran, you've had your hand up for a while. I'm not sure if you got to speak or not, what you wanted to say, first of all. Do you still need to say something there? And while she's finding her microphone, we have Coco and Dean who have their hands up, and also Mr. Chim wants to, has something he'd like to explain. And Coco wanted to share their experience. So maybe Coco, I think we'll go with you first. Let me allow you to talk there.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, Coco.
Yes, Rick. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so I would like to share my last week experience. My mom had an accident. She fell on the floor and she broke the col du femoral col. So the doctors wanted to remove the col du femur. And I was following the Jean-Jacques teaching, the health teaching of Jean-Jacques, very beautiful teaching. And so I knew that we don't have to remove the col du femur because it's the biggest, let's say, white globule blanc factory, if I can say so. And so I was fighting with all the doctors and my family, because I was trying to explain to them that you don't have to remove it, even if you have to stay for a while on the bed and have a long time re-education. I was like fighting for that, and it was like impossible for them. It was the only thing that we have to do is to remove the col du femur and to put a prosthesis. I think we say it like that. So I put my intent first, and then I thanks in advance for the result, for the finality of the things that we won't change, we won't remove the col du femur. And I called my friend, and in the same time I take this part of the video of the teaching, and I send it to the whole family and friends and even doctors. And after that, they realized that I was right, and we are not supposed to remove the col du femur. So after 4 days, because they couldn't make the operation, the surgery, because she has a very medical background. She has cancer, metastasis in the bassin, in all the bones, let's say, more or less. And she have Crohn, la maladie du Crohn is it's a disease. And finally, the doctors decide to keep the col du femur and to fix with a broche, we say it in French, like a piece of metal with four
A pin. I think they call it a pin sometimes.
Yeah. And concerning the intent, after that, when because I was spending all my time in the clinic, in the hospital, actually I'm still there, so I don't really have all my mind on me. So every time I go home to have a shower and come back and bring some stuff back to mom, for example, I'm going to give you an example. Every time I went back, I wanted to go back to the hospital. I was saying to myself, so okay, now I will just reach the main gate of the building and I will find a gap waiting for me over there. And it happened 3 times in a row. First day, second day, and third day. It was like amazing. And the third day, I was going to the hospital, and I wanted to make a baobab. We call it in Wolof. It's a bui. It's the baobab fruit. Yeah, I wanted to make her a baobab juice because it's like it contains a lot of calcium. And when I was going on my way to the hospital, I was saying to myself that it's okay. I will go there and I will find that someone bring her 1 bottle of juice. And it's amazing because I just went after like 1 hour after that I reached the hospital and I was in the room with my mom. There's a lady that she came and she just told say to mom, yes, I bring you un jus de bouille with me. So I was like, what? I don't know if it's my intent or if it was the feeling that I was feeling that's going to happen. And one more thing, one day I was leaving home to come back to hospital and I forget to take some clothes. And I said to myself that it's okay. When I will go to the hospital, she will have someone will bring her some pieces of clothes, and that's what happened. When I came to the hospital, she had like 2 friends of her. They came and they bring her 2 pieces of clothes. I mean, 2 ensembles, 2 pants and top. Yeah, this is concerning the intention, and yeah, this is what I wanted to share. Maybe I'm off sujet, it's not the topic, but my friend insisted that I have to share it because it's important. So thank you very much, and I hope
Thank you very much. That was quite a powerful testimonial, I would say, and seemed quite appropriate to our topic today.
Okay, thank you very much for that. To be able to share all that and to have access to those information because it's really like. And I mean, everyone have to do those teachings, the health teaching. It's very important. It can change the life of people.
Okay, thank you, Coco.
Okay, ciao, ciao. Merci.
Okay, perhaps we could hear from Mr. Chen, who's had his hand up for a while and you have something you'd like to explain, Mr. Chen?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Because I have hearing about Mario saying about music, and Mario have connect with me. He give me a table of the table of the ratio, golden ratio, and I have learned on it, and I see because everything we have under our hand have made by someone by engineer, like your car. Every part of your car is calculated by the engineer. You see, the mathematics is very useful on your life. Everything under your hand, your spectacle, your table, and your house, everything is calculated. And the music too, because the music is a vibration come from our soul, and we can take out from our throat to become a voice and sing for the other. What Mario give me, I have calculated. I see not only as a ratio, a golden ratio, not only for the music. We can calculate the vibration of the universe too, because under the vibration, what we can hear, the low vibration is the vibration of the universe, and higher the vibration become the color and we can see the light, everything. And higher, we have other thing. When about music, Chinese, for a long time, they use the music to make the enemy cannot make a war. Like the enemy come, they make music, very sad music. Everybody become sad, and they want to come back to their country. They use the music to the enemy cannot. It's because I am difficult to explain.
You can use, maybe Elizabeth can translate for you if you have a word that you need.
Someone can translate for me, please?
Elizabeth, are you able to do that?
Sure. C'était quoi le mot?
C'est la musique. Les Chinois ont utilisé la musique pour que les ennemis ne peuvent plus faire la guerre.
So the Chinese used the music so that their enemies could never feel like making war.
Et dans la musique, les Chinois disent c'est le son de l'univers.
The Chinese say that in music, it's the sound of the universe.
C'est pourquoi les musiques des Chinois, ils ont beaucoup utilisé, surtout dans les royaumes, puisqu'ils ne veulent pas que la musique sorte pour le peuple.
So that's why the Chinese used music a lot within dans leur royaume propre.
Yeah.
Yeah. In their own royal areas, because they didn't want the people in general. Ils voulaient pas que leur peuple ait accès.
Oui, c'est pourquoi.
They didn't want their people to have access to this music. Why? Pourquoi?
Puisqu'il dit que c'est le son le son céleste, c'est le son de l'univers.
Because they said it was the sound of the universe or celestial sounds.
Lorsque je suis venu au Canada,
since I've come to Canada,
j'ai connu une personne
I've known one person
qui travaille dans la discothèque.
Who works in a discotheque.
Et dans la conversation,
in a conversation with him,
il m'a donné des renseignements très utiles, mais avant, je ne sais pas.
During that conversation, he gave me some understandings that I did not have before.
Puisque dans les discothèques, il est l'homme qui fait le son, qui joue le son.
Because he's the man that plays the music in the discotheque.
Il dit qu'avec le rythme du son,
he says with the rhythm of the sound,
il peut exciter les gens.
He can excite the people.
Et les rend fous.
And make them crazy.
C'est pourquoi la musique est très importante.
And that's why music is so important.
Et vous savez, la musique, c'est quelque chose de fiscalité.
And he says music is a thing from physicality.
Yeah. Puisque M. Keshe a très bien dit,
since Mr. Keshe said very well,
notre âme est le plasma.
Because our soul is plasma.
Puisque le plasma, nous pouvons recevoir les plasmas.
Since our plasma can only receive other plasmas.
Et nous pouvons recevoir les plasmas du cosmos.
And we can receive plasma from the cosmos.
Il y a beaucoup de musiciens qui ont utilisé cette façon.
C'était quoi le mot? Il
y a beaucoup de musiciens.
There's a lot of musicians who've used this.
Mais c'est lorsqu'ils restent calmes.
It's when they stay calm.
Il peut capter la résonance cosmique.
They can capture the resonance of the cosmos.
Et il transforme en résonance en résonance vocale.
And they transform it in vocal resonance.
C'est pourquoi les musiciens ont écrit les harmonies.
That's why musicians
C'est bien du cosmos.
have written such harmonies, because they come from the cosmos.
Et surtout, il y a beaucoup de petits-enfants de 5 ans.
And there's many children around 5 years old.
Ils s'en souviennent de tout ce qu'il fait de son cerveau antérieur.
They remember all of their interior life.
Et ils jouent très bien la musique.
And they play music extremely well.
Mieux que les hommes ont travaillé 40 ans dans la musique.
Better than men who have worked 40 years in music.
C'est pourquoi la musique est une résonance du plasma.
And that's why music is a resonance of plasma.
C'est pourquoi le plasma que nous émettons, c'est de notre âme.
And that's why the plasma that we emit comes from our soul.
Puisque notre plasma, il y a beaucoup de gens qui pensent que l'émotion est le plasma.
It's because many people think emotion is plasma.
Vraiment, l'émotion est le plasma.
Really, emotion is a plasma.
Mais l'émotion balance entre le positif et le négatif.
But the emotion balances between negative and positive.
Il y a une chose qui ne balance pas entre le positif et le négatif.
There's one thing that doesn't balance between the negative and the positive.
C'est notre intention.
It's our intention.
Puisque nous dirigeons nos intentions vers le positif seulement.
Since we direct our energy only towards the positive.
Mais il y a aussi des gens qui dirigent leur intention vers le négatif.
But there are other people that do direct their energy to the negative.
Et ces idées-là sont diaboliques.
These ideas are diabolic.
Alors, puisque pour pouvoir comment dire, élever notre âme,
to be able to elevate our own souls,
nous devons avoir une intention toujours positive.
We always need to have a positive intention.
Et dans la joie.
And in joy.
Puisque dans la joie et dans l'amour et dans la compassion.
Because in joy, compassion, and love.
Et nous élevons notre âme.
We raise our soul.
C'est pourquoi aujourd'hui, j'essaie de communiquer avec vous.
So this is today why I'm communicating with you.
Monsieur Keshe a très bien expliqué.
Mr. Keshe explained very well.
Jouez avec votre intention.
Play with your intentions.
Merci.
Merci. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chan, as always. And we have Dean. Dean, you've had your hand up. Perhaps you could add to the equation here. Dean, do you want to unmute your microphone and speak?
Yes, thank you. Blessings, I am present. If you could, and if I am able to do it on my telephone, I put together a little slideshow of some of my work. So if you could promote me to panelists, and if I can then share my screen and actually get it to share this time, I'd like to show you some stuff because it definitely fits in with everything that has been spoken about here.
Okay, I'll just stop the share. You should be able to share there.
Okay, now I'm going to see if I can do this more. No.
Bring up the item you want to share first, and then go to the share screen button.
Okay.
Or do you want to share video? You want to share files, right?
I want to share, yes, it'd be a file.
Okay,
I'm looking for my share screen.
Bring up the picture first. Do you have that ready to go?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm on a what do you call it?
iPhone or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually can't do that.
I think you have to have the picture in your in the photos application or something, and then
yes, I do. And you can't put me on share screen, can you?
Put you on share screen? What do you mean?
You can't share my screen from your location with Zoom, can you?
No, you have to share your screen or you share your video one way or the other.
Okay, well, let me see if I
actually send me a folder with the pictures or something like that, and I can show them.
You know what? I could do that. So where would I send those to?
Let's see, you could put them in the, what do we have here?
You know, I could put a link in the chat to, what do you call that? To Google Drive.
Okay, yeah, that would work.
Hey, fabulous. So I'm going to mute out. And I guess one other thing that I could say is I told you that I'm working on a large project of a city that is going forth probably in the Adriatic Sea. And hopefully next week I will be able to share our message of peace with this group, because it's coming along quick, and we have come up with the name of it, which is Aria. And it was real interesting as the, what do you call that? When our mission statement was being read for the city of Aria, I was standing under the arch in Las Vegas of the Aria Hotel as that was happening. And I thought that was just real interesting. And it couldn't have happened before the Chinese New Year, which is a year of the dog. And as it was going through and being read here upon this, I bet well, how many stories? It's like 5, 6, 7 stories high. And upon the mark.
Sorry, Dean, we lost your audio there temporarily. I think you have to reopen your mic. I promoted you to a panelist and it cut off your audio. You have to reopen your, let me unmute you. There, I unmuted you. Go ahead.
Okay, let me see if do you have my audio?
Yes, we do now. We just lost the last sentence or two while you're being promoted there.
Okay, well, that's fabulous. What I was saying is that here I have it. I can actually share this.
Right. Yeah, I think Vince is telling me that you can share now that we've promoted you.
Okay, can you see the pictures?
No.
Okay.
Just a minute here. Let me see if I can see if I'm missing something. Okay, now we're seeing something coming.
There we have one.
Yes,
can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, this is a thing that I designed as a fountain. And let me see how I can do this. No, that didn't work. You know what? I'm just going to finish with the story that I was telling, and then I'm going to send you a link. As our our peace treaty was being read that we've been working on for literally 3 years. And the name of the city and the financing looks like it has come through for the city that we're going to be building and the technologies that our group is releasing. And the name of the city is going to be Aria. And as our mission statement was being read, as it has just been almost finally crafted, I was standing under a marquee at the Aria Hotel in Las Vegas, and our financing couldn't have happened before the end of the Chinese New Year or the beginning. And so I'm standing under this sign, which is probably, 10 stories tall. Upon the lighted marquee comes Happy New Year, the year of the dog. And anyway, I'm going to send the link, and I'm just glad to be here. I am present, and our intention and our creation has brought peace. And with that, I'm going to mute myself and see if I can't get you a link.
Okay, thank you, Dean. If you don't work it in this workshop, we can certainly get it in the next one. Okay, Caroline, are you still present?
Of course, but this time I closed my microphone.
That's okay.
Not to start coughing out of nowhere. That was interesting. And a lot of interesting topics have come on the table.
Yes, many thanks to people for contributing their experiences, because we really appreciate the community kind of aspect here, that everybody cooperates and we help each other out. It's all about the giving.
All about the giving. It's amazing how easy we can give, so easily. If we can pass this information to children and neighbors by just visualizing that they can wish, that they will bring so much change in their life. It's just start with small things. Things do change. Even when you stand on top of yourself and say, whoa, I made a mistake there, and you clear it out, just check your own emotional feeling, how you feel about that. You feel good because you corrected that path as fast as you could, and it didn't have to pile up inside you somewhere not feeling so very good. And that is also one of the things which makes people tired. That sometimes doesn't come on the table, but tiredness is also created because you're carrying a lot of emotional weight and it doesn't get cleaned up. But you can do a lot of cleanup by just being happy and smile. And do you still walk in front of the mirror, Rick or Dr. Guata?
Yes, I catch myself every once in a while reminded about that exercise when I look in the mirror. Usually when I sneak in the morning and look around the corner of the bathroom door and see myself in the mirror.
Now I will point something else out of you. And maybe that will, sneaky me, maybe that will give you the drive to go and check more, to go and have a gaze in your soul through your eyes. And that is, try to double check if your color in your eyes are changing, or if you notice any change, because your field strength, the more you apply the exercise, creates a change in your physicality, which should appear the first signs of it in your eyes. Because you literally can change your whole being. The way you speak, your voice, your tonation, your color of your hair, your eyes, also the color. They can even go brighter or smaller. The same as you can make facial expressions in the mirror, you can actually, for long periods of time, see physical changes. It's just focus. Go and discover the beauty. It's not only bringing that smile on your face before you're going to walk into that mirror. Because I can see a lot of smiles appearing on a lot of people's faces, because it was not, and it's not something easy to do. Because you look deep down inside yourself, and some of you were trying to use the music, but your eyes are literally the fastest way to get there. Because it's you against you, or opposite you, or whatever you want to name it. Is gazing in the soul. And I'm so glad that this gentleman from China, which now is living in Canada apparently, brought us that secret knowledge. Not many people know that what music can do. And a lot of these kind of things are hidden because they can be used two ways. It can be used to be so beautiful, and it can be used to harm so badly, as he explained. And I would like, if there is nothing more to be shared, to bring your attention again to so needed people, not only in Sudan, but worldwide, because we can create that change. We bring that change.
It's Violet asked in the Q&A, if possible, may we end just before the music with a moment of silence for universal peace, just to add to the bank of fields for whomever, whenever, or wherever they are needed.
She was ahead of me.
Not to rush things, but
No.
very nice.
It's beautiful.
Nice way to put it, yes.
That is beautiful. I think we are hitting the 3-hour mark.
Yes, I see Dean has his hand up there, and he's got some sort of link here with some pictures. Not sure if there's a number of pictures. Should we maybe have a quick look at them before we leave?
Yeah, why
I
not?
think we could do that, sure. Okay, we can see here. Dean, let me allow you to, you should be able to talk there actually if you want to comment here. Should I just go with the upper left one and go through the list here, or how do you want to do it?
Oh, you can just flip through them. Everybody does have the link. And these are just a few, I mean, just a smattering of the work that I've done. And the first ones here, these were rainbows and done in perfect, what do you call it? Perfect geometry, because it was folded into place. And I just wanted to be able to share a little bit of the work. And as you go through, I would take and move it to the next picture. And you don't need, wow, back to meeting. You don't have to spend a lot of time on any of the pictures. I just wanted to be able to share a little. And there's a lot more than that. And so anybody can take a look at them, I guess, at any time. Yeah, there's the heart. That's probably, yeah, you can just go through. That's a Keshe, what do you call it? On top of that, that's a nano-coated wire that was given to somebody and actually helped them a great deal. You can go to the next one. And those are just rainbows. Red, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple. You can go to the next one. I call that Quantum Man. There's a lot in that. That was an interesting piece of work to do.
So you said you're building a city close to Norway?
It looks like it's going to be put in an island on the Adriatic Sea.
Yeah, I know why. That's
but
the Adriatic Sea, that would be close to Norway, right?
Well, it's in between Italy and Italy and Croatia.
Oh, I see.
It'll be a Mediterranean climate.
And if that is related to a bridge, what is the reason why they're trying to put a city there?
Well, it's a project that's been being worked on, and I'm not actually involved in the land acquisition, but it's a place where the different people, because we're an international group, there are 30 of us, and we have projects that are for the benefit of humanity. And the city it's going to be a city of science and refuge. And it'll be a place where we can put the new technologies, et cetera, into operation. And my particular project besides my artwork, yeah, I love that one. That's the heart. And that would be my signature piece. My thing is integration of agricultural systems, starting with the decomposition of substrate in order to either create soil, building materials, or used as a substrate for growing fungus and food. And I have a machine that is a aerobic digester that will change actually all of the equations of processing substrate for commercial use of mushroom growing, as well as bioremediation for taking the substrate and being able to decompose things like hydrocarbons. And my machine will go there, as well as the mechanization in order to make it work. And then personally, being in the United States, I have a project that's going into Roswell to do the same thing. Then we will manufacture and start getting the machines out and the technology in order to do a couple things. Number one, feed the world. Number two, capture things like the salts and everything that degrade soil by taking them, putting them into building materials and things like that. Anyway, why there? Because somebody's choosing besides me. But it doesn't matter, because everything that we do there, okay, is also being done here. One of the people who's working our team is working with UCLA in California on a team that is working on making all of Los Angeles a self-sufficient city by 2040. So we're excited, and I am so present with what has been happening. That one right there, I was thinking about a samurai hood when I did that.
Yeah, I would like to know who is in LA. I'm a graduate from the School of Architecture from UCLA, so I would like to go and check them out.
Well, as soon as the things that are happening right now come beyond the place of non-disclosure, I will be getting the documents and the people and everything to you, because we are going to, we're working on the same team. We're working on the same project. And I cannot see it not, I'm there. So it has to integrate with me. And since I'm already integrated or already present with you, as well as there are several other members of our family symposium gathering that have been working and studying with the Keshe. So we already have at least 3 within our 30 that are present.
No, thank you.
Sounds really great, Dean. Listen,
I've been working on this for over 40 years, and it's
yeah.
You know. So,
well
and
done.
I took that one yesterday.
You pardon me?
I said I took this picture yesterday.
You actually took this picture. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, all this is all my work. You know, there's nothing that comes out that. See, I have hundreds. Good Lord, I've been an artist all my life. I'm over 60.
Yeah.
And I have just thousands and thousands of works, and I own the copyright on all of them.
Great. Okay, we need to wrap things up for today. I've just been given the notice here. So thank you Appreciate getting a preview of some of your stuff, and maybe we'll have some other images we can have a look at as we go along here, and other workshops. Good stuff. And thank you everybody for multiple contributions today, and lots of topics were brought up, and still staying with the main topics. So it was great show. We need to end things for today. Is there anything else you want to say, Caroline, before we wrap up?
No, it was a beautiful platform today. And we nearly saw all the corners of the planet. And please, we will respect the 1 minute peace and silence that we can accumulate our field strength, and we all know the best place where it should go at this given moment. I am present.
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 I am present.